I'm excited to be joined by Paul Westsells. He's the CEO and president of Western Copper and Gold. And you guys have one of the largest copper and gold projects in Canada right now out in the Yukon. And we had the chance to meet at this year's Invest Yukon conference, but unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to interview you. So thanks so much for sitting down with me today and speaking with me.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure. Next year, hopefully we'll get you up and get you up to site.
Exactly. And for maybe investors that aren't familiar with your company, could you maybe walk us through Western Copper and Gold's story and why the casino project is so significant?
Sure. I mean, Western Copper and Gold has been developing the Casino Copper Gold project up in the Yukon for about a little over 12 years, but it's really been the last 3 years that have really sort of brought the company up to a next level. And back in 2020, we almost doubled the resource. We issued a PEA in 2021, and that turned into a full feasibility study in 2022. And then, this is with a background of a rising copper price environment. And then, very importantly, we brought in Rio Tinto as a strategic investor in 2021 and Mitsubishi Materials as a strategic investor this year in 2023. And, the casino project is one of Canada's largest copper gold mines. It is the largest critical minerals project in Canada because of the copper and the molybdenum. So it's an exciting project. It's an exciting time. And like I said, the last 3 years is where everything really is sort of come together.
And want to touch on that, the investors Rio Tinto and Mitsubishi Materials. That's pretty significant. What drew them to invest in your company?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, starting with Rio Tinto, I mean, they have a corporate mandate to add copper. That you look around and there's not that many large copper projects. I mean, our project, our Casino Copper Gold project, is the fifth largest copper gold project not controlled by a major mining company in the world. So, I mean, we're top five in terms of, copper projects that aren't already associated with a big major mining company. That was a fairly simple sort of investment. And now we've worked with them for a number of years and we'll see where that goes. Mitsubishi, sort of the same idea. They're looking for concentrate. Mitsubishi has two copper smelters located in Japan. They're looking for concentrate. We're, nice clean concentrate, high gold concentrate. I mean, the gold is a significant part of our deposit as well. So again, a good asset, a good location, a good product.
And I want to focus on copper. Copper is expected to play a critical role in the energy transition. What's your long-term outlook on the metal and the supply versus demand fundamentals at stake?
Well, exactly. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, people talk about critical minerals, and they're all critical, absolutely. But which ones are people worried about? And people are worried about copper. And they're worried about copper because it's a larger commodity, it trades well, but people can look at what are the mines that are likely to come online over the next decade, and what does the demand look like? And I'll be honest, it's a little scary because critical minerals are critical, particularly with copper, because they're key to the energy transition. And when you look at copper, there just isn't. I mean, sure, there's enough copper projects, but projects that have the right location in a good jurisdiction such as Canada, have the size like we do with the casino project, and have the support of the local First Nations. And this is always important. That I tell people, look, these big copper companies, they got to make money. So if your project isn't economic, they're not going to be interested. So there's not a lot of projects like that. We have one with casino, and then when we look to the future of the copper, there just isn't enough. That means higher copper prices in the future. I mean, the drive to execute the energy transition is not going to go away. We're going to need more copper. We're going to need good mines and good locations like casino.
And obviously that'll be a major tailwind for your company going forward. But just more broadly, what are some milestones that Western Copper and Gold is working towards in the future?
Absolutely. So one of the key milestones right now is we're working on the environmental assessment piece. So we're looking to get on August 17th, we'll get our what are called ESG statement guidelines. It's a whole bunch of words, but really it's a list of what we're going to need to submit. We've been working on that. We have draft guidelines already received. So we don't expect them to be wildly different, but there will be some differences. So we're excited to sort of see that. The other big milestone is really our agreement with Rio Tinto. With our agreement with Rio Tinto expires on November 28th. The idea with Rio Tinto was that we sign this agreement, we will work together. If they like what they see, we talk about next steps. They could be big next steps. That expires on November 28th. We expect to be sitting down with them relatively soon here and talking about where we go.
Well, we look forward to watching all of those catalysts unfold. Definitely an interesting story. Paul, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure, Margot. Thank you very much.
Paul Westsells, the CEO of Western Copper and Gold.